Another problem-solving strategy we can use in math is working backwards. We can use this in a simple algebraic equation like 2x plus 5 divided by 3 equals 7. We want to find out what x is. Well, if we think about it, what are we doing? We start with x. And then we're going to multiply by 2. We add 5. And then we divide by 3 to get 7. So what we're going to do now is we're going to work backwards. So instead of going this direction, we're going to go backwards, and every operation is going to turn into its inverse. Add will turn into subtract, multiply turns into divide, etc. So this way we start with 7. And instead of dividing by 3, the opposite is we multiply by 3. 7 times 3 gives us 21. Instead of adding 5, we're going to subtract 5. 21 minus 5 gives us 16. Instead of multiplying by 2, the inverse would be to divide by 2. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. And, well, now we're back to x, except instead of starting with x, we're ending with x. And our last answer there was 8. We can use this technique to answer story problems as well. Let's say we got a guy, he goes on a trip to Vegas. First day he doubles his money and then spends $50 on dinner. On his second day he triples his money and then spends $120 on clothes. On the third day he wins $100 and then finally loses half of his money, say at the airport, and ends with $140. How much did he start with? Well, so we don't know, so that's x. We know he doubled his money, so times 2. Then he spent $50, so that's subtract 50. Then he tripled his money, so that's times 3. But then he spent $120 on clothes, so we're going to subtract 120. He won $100, so that would be adding 100. And then lost half his money, so that would be times a half. We could also write that as divide by 2. And we end with 140. So that's the forward way. Looking backwards, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to start with 140. Instead of times by half, we're going to divide by half, which is, if we think of timesing by half as dividing by 2, this would be multiplying by 2, which gives us 280. The opposite of adding 100 would be subtract 100, takes us to 180. Subtracting 120, the opposite would be adding 120, so 180 plus 120 gets us to 300. The opposite of times by 3 would be divide by 3. 300 divided by 3 is 100. The opposite of subtract 50 is add 50. 100 plus 50 is 150. The opposite of times 2 is divide by 2. 150 divided by 2 is 75. So we could say that the guy started with 75. Let's check that. 75 doubled is 150 minus 50 gives us 100, times 3 is 300, subtract 120 gives us 180. Add 100 to that is 280, half of 280 is 140. That is our final answer. It works. So there you go. Working backwards is a powerful problem-solving strategy we can use in math. Good luck with that.